Ah, ah, ah. Testing, testing. Robot, robot. Okay. Hi, welcome back to Cora's party. So, I know I said I was going to try to find the other ending so I can show them on stream, and I forgot to do that. It's yeah, no, there's no excuse. I just completely forgot. It's kind of nice we get to start with this nice piano music though. It's really nice. Hello? My little cousin just knocked on the door and walked away. Okay, let's get going.
突然声をかけられてゴミ箱を抱えたまま振り返る。それは今まで話したことのない男子生徒だった。でも見かけたことなら何度もある。彼は7組の三国司くんだ。
そこ、足元。根っこが出てるから気をつけな。
え
Uh-oh. Oh, we're off to a great start.
ちょっとそこ笑うとこ
だってよ。
もうそこはさ、大丈夫かとか聞いてくれたって。
悪い悪い。
あ、いいよ、そんな手が汚れるよ。
別にいいよ、そんくらい。笑った詫びに手伝う。
Aw, I like
あ
him.
りがとう。
We all love like the clumsy mute cutes, or like some like just happens and then you just get a laugh out of it,
うん。これで全部拾い終えたか？
and then you both get dinner.
うん、もう大丈夫。
じゃ、行くぞ。
え？あ、
I remember it well, even now. This was my first time talking with Sukasa, and he left a strong impression on me.
ごめん、重たいよね。
別に。
やっぱり自分で。
いいって。はい、終了。
ありがとう。助かったよ。
じゃあな。
あ、ちょっと待って。
あ？
お礼させてよ。
いい女の。これくらいで。
Actually, he does kind of look like Satoshi. Just like a little bit. Maybe I'm just going crazy.
いいから、ちょっと待っててね。
ん？
友達が増えるというのは嬉しいし、楽しい。その相手が三国司くんというのも嬉しかった。司くんのことは実は少し気になっていたから。よいしょっと。
Most of the times I've seen Tsukasa before this before this for the school courtyard. Spent a lot of time there, sitting alone on a bench. Even after school or during summer vacation, I happened to pass by, I would always see him there. And after this little encounter, we'd go on to make many fond memories together. Yet somehow, the image of Tsukasa that stands out most in my mind is of him sitting alone on that courtyard bench.
はい、どうぞ。コーヒー牛乳でよかった。
まあなんでもいいけどサンキュー。
Ooh,
これは
fancy.
私からのお礼なんだから、黙って受け取ってくれればいいの。
義理がたいやつ。
We walked to the bench together and sat down and began making small talk. That courtyard bench was sort of a mystical place. The leaves rustle over your head, and if you close your eyes and open your ears, it felt as if you were in the middle of some forest. And then, if you looked straight up, sunlight poured in through the leaves, and you almost felt like you were in another world.
初めて座ったよ、このベンチ。
なかなかいいだろ。
What kind of trees are these? Oh, sorry.
素敵な場所。
だよな。
あ、だからなの？
え？
この時間とか昼休みとかよくここにいるでしょ。
ああ。
この場所好きなんだね。
まあね。
そっか。
The leaves rustled as a gentle breeze blew between us. We were both silent for a bit, but strangely, it didn't feel awkward or uncomfortable.
引かないのか？
ね？
いつも一人で何してんだって。
この場所が好きだからいつもここにいるんだよね。
そうだけどさ。
他に何か理由があったりするの？
ないよ。
What? Why ask?
じゃあ聞く必要ないじゃない。
そうだけど、ほら普通聞くだろ。一人でそんなんつまらなくないかとか、意味わかんねえとか、変わってるなとか。
そんなこと思わなかったな。ここが好きなら一人でいたって別に変じゃないよね。
Yeah, definitely been there though.
お前変わってるな。
え？
いや、そんな顔しなくても、今のは俺的褒め言葉だから。
What are we looking here? I'm not covering too much of the text, am I? I might have to move myself. Hang on. Not that. Let's see. Maybe a little more. Okay, it should be fine if I don't move my head too much over this way. Alright.
変わってるが褒め言葉？
そうそう。
なんか納得いかないな。もう。
The expression on Tsukasa's face was a dead giveaway that he really enjoyed talking to me. And I've always loved the feeling I get when I know my words help brighten someone's day. Must have been sporting one hell of a goofy smile at that moment. This is like really nice, and yet I'm waiting for something to go wrong.
本当はさ、この学校でもっと好きな場所があるんだよ。
どんなところ？
秘密。とっておきだからな。
ってことは、そこも超素敵な場所なんだよね。
ああ。
いいな、どこ？気になるよ。
ダメ、そう簡単には教えない。それにいつでも見れるってもんじゃないんだ、そこの景色。
司くんは笑いながら紙パックのジュースを飲み干すとベンチから立ち上がった。そして目の前にあったゴミ箱をひょいっとつかみ、私を振り返る。
コーヒーをおごってもらったしな。ついでに教室まで運んでやるよ。
いいの？
ああ。
Aww.
ありがとう。あ、私のクラスはね。
4組だろ？知ってるよ。シシドユイっつったら有名だからな。
どうして？
今から先生みたいな女子がいるって。12クラス全部で有名だよ。
What? You're that popular and you didn't know it? What?
それから私と司くんは何度か中庭で会っては
Oh
話をし
shit.
た。校舎の中ではすれ違ってもほとんど話すことがないのに、中庭では不思議と話が弾む。
Sorry, I had to like mute myself for a second because someone was walking by.
あ、またお前コーヒー牛乳かよ。
うん。
好きすぎだろコーヒー牛乳。
そんなことないよ。
1日に最低2本は飲んでるくせにか？
なんで知ってるの？
What the?
自販機でいつもそれ買ってるの、ここから見えるんだよ。
No, this reminds me, like, I read somewhere that cafe au lait is like a really popular drink in New Orleans. At least at the time that I searched it up.
ほら、そっち見てみ。
本当だ。
昼休みも放課後もいつもシシドがコーヒー牛乳買ってるのバッチリ見てたからな。
そんなことを言ったら、私だって司くんがここのベンチに座ってるのいつも見てたよ。
いや、知ってるけど、なんでまた言う？
お互い気になってたんだなって思ったから。
なんだそりゃ。
中庭での会話はたわいのないものがほとんどだった。教室で友達と繰り広げる会話みたいにあんまり中身がなくて、でもすごく楽しくて。
Sorry. Somebody was like stomping around and I didn't want it to catch on the, yeah.
この場所、夏でも結構涼しいね。
夏とか言うな。
あれ？夏嫌い？
夏季講習が目前に迫ってたら誰でも嫌いになるだろう。
Uh-oh.
まあね、私たち3年生だもんね。夏だからって遊んではいられないよね。
お前は随分と楽しそうだけどな。
私は夢に近づいてるって実感できて嬉しいよ。私ね、人に勉強を教えるの好きなんだ。頼られるのも好き。
なんで？
同 お姉さんになった感じがするからかな。ほら、私一人っ子だし。
ああ、うん。まあ頑張れば。
わ、すっごいどうでもよさそう。
Oh, there he goes.
だって人事だしな。
Oh my goodness. Yeah, he likes to like run back and forth every once in a while. There he goes.
そんなことを言いながらも、司くんはやっぱり優しかった。だって私の夢を笑ったりはしなかったから。先生になりたいって夢を話すと、大抵の人は笑ったり茶化したりで、あんまり真剣に聞いてくれない。だけど司くんは一度も笑わなかったんだ。
Had to mute myself for a little bit there. Sorry about that. The season was quickly turning to autumn. Oh shit. After the school day ended, the senior floor was always a lot more quiet than its underclassmen counterparts. Everyone was off studying hard at the library or with tutors. Oh my goodness. Ah! Sorry about that. So one day, thinking no one else was around, I sat in the lonely corner of the hallway. Initially, I grabbed my shoes and left the classroom, intending to head home, but along the way, I just started crying. I was overwhelmed. My sobs echoed from one end of the hallway to the other.
この日、私は無事に志望校の推薦枠に入れてもらえることになった。嬉しくて仕方がなかった私はすぐに友達に報告した。けれどいつもなら手放しで喜んでくれるその子がふと表情を曇らせた。
私の前でそんなこと言うんだ。まだ私は夢も何も決まってないのに。
多分私はひどくショックを受けた顔になっていたのだと思う。巴はすぐにハッとしたように目を見開き、慌てて謝ってくれた。だから私も笑って気にしてないよってそう言ったのだけれど気にしてないわけがない。巴の言葉と表情が鋭い針のようになって私の胸をつく。私考えなしだったのかな。
Oh no.
他のみんなも同じこと思ってた。
I kept wiping the tears from my eyes, only for new ones to take their place immediately. Why didn't I think of this sooner? So many people were still facing uncertain futures with no real goals in mind, and I was completely oblivious to it. I was the one with the dream, running around like the cock of the walk and blabbing about my success and aspirations. I wouldn't blame them if they hated me. Could someone that insensitive to the feelings of so many other people really become a teacher? Did I ever even have what it takes to begin with?
シシド？
声をかけられて振り向くと、そこには司くんが立っていた。いつもは廊下であっても言葉を交わすことなんてないのに、この日は ごく自然に声をかけてくれた。司くん。
すごい顔だぞ。ハンカチは？
持ってる。
じゃあ顔拭けよ。
司くんが戸惑っている空気がひしひしと伝わってきた。彼を困らせたくなかったから、私はこぼれ落ちていこうとする涙を必死に拭う。
何かあったのか？
何もないよ。
何かあったからそんなに泣いてんだろ？
これは友達とちょっと気まずくなっちゃって。でもすぐに仲直りしたから大丈夫。これはさ、そう、嬉し涙みたいなものだから。
ふん。
嬉し涙って言えばね、私推薦枠に入れることになっ。
I'm not sure if I did that out of respect for Tsukasa or because I wanted to change the subject, but I cut myself mid-sentence. I was doing it again. What was I thinking? Now, now even Tsukasa was going to hate me for being a braggart. Oh, I hated myself. I was the worst. Just the worst. But
マジか。
he was happy for me? A bit taken aback, I nodded firmly.
やったじゃんか。おめでとう。
うん、ありがとう。
お、
ありが。
だからなんで泣くんだよ。ふん。まだ推薦枠が決まったってだけで推薦入試があるんだろ？嬉し泣きするほど喜ぶにはまだ早いだろ
そうだよね。でもそうやっておめでとうって言ってもらえたから、なんか嬉しくて。
う。たく。
ごめんね。
何が？
泣いたりしてわけわかんないよね。
そう思ってんなら早く泣きやめって。
もう大丈夫だから。
Oh, hey Flash, it's going pretty good. So far, so good. Welcome to the stream. How are you?
たく。
I rubbed my swollen eyes, a smile broke through, and Tsukasa let out an exasperated sigh. Then, as if suddenly remembering something, his eyes lit up.
そうだシシド、ちょっと待ってろ。
Tsukasa ran into his classroom, quickly reappearing in the hall again just moments later. He was holding something.
お前にこれやるよ。
Playing Dominions 5 as Vampira. Ooh, nice.
鉛筆？
His outstretched hand rested a short, stubby little pencil. It's the sort of thing you'd expect someone to go out of their way to lend you. One of the vampire nations? Cool. It was pocketed here and there, with small scratches, but still seemed to be in relatively decent shape, considering how obviously well worn it was.
受験必勝鉛筆。
受験必勝？
これ使うと試験に受かるんだよ。
本当に？
ああ、如月学園に受かるのは難しいって言われてた俺がこれ使って受かったんだから間違いないよ。
Oh my gosh, he's got a lucky
じ
pencil.
ゃあこれ司くんが高校入試の時に使った鉛筆なんだ。
そう、経験新たかな鉛筆だぜ。
霊言新たかね。
あ、それだ。
それじゃあ借りるね。ありがとう。
言っとくけど、貸すのは推薦入試までだからな。一般入試の時は俺が使うから返してもらう。
Oh my gosh, the lucky pencil, truth.
だから推薦絶対受かれよ。
I like Tsukasa. He's a good guy.
鉛筆を受け取り笑顔でうなずく。今度は司くんも笑ってくれた。
人の気持ちまで勝手に思いやって背負い込んで、悲しみまで自分のものにして。お前みたいなのが先生になれたらいいのにな。
Aw. For a moment, I had no idea what he's talking about, but then it hit me. Tsukasa has somehow sussed out. Sus! Among us! Oh. Sussed out from our conversation that I was crying because I upset Tomoe. And he was turning that fact around to offer me encouragement.
頑張れよ。負けんなよ。
頑張れって言葉は辛い時にはプレッシャーになるから言っちゃダメってよく聞く。けれど私はこの優しい言葉が大好きだった。私頑張るね、司くん。
おう。
この日から私はどんどん司くんに惹かれていった。彼は全然そっけなくてちっとも振り向いてはくれなかったけれど。
Aww. I can still clearly recall the events of that day even now. It was October, the day before the entrance exam. Oh boy. I think we're good. The weather outside had been miserable since morning, and visibility was all but non-existent. It would be a band open if I were to slip and fall on the day before the exam, so I decided to wear boots to school just to be safe.
行ってきます。
When I opened the door, I was shocked to see a white-haired old woman lying on the ground, soaked to the bone. That is sweet. It is. I frantically rushed over to her side.
おばあさん、大丈夫ですか？しっかりしてください。どうしたんですか？まさかひき逃げとか？
Sorry, I had to mute myself for a second. Hi, Red. Welcome to the stream. How are you? The road running by my house was narrow and mostly used only by our neighbors. It's not like it was. Oh dear. Okay, good go. It wasn't. It wasn't like it was closed off to outside traffic or anything, so a hit and run wasn't out of the question. I looked over the old woman's body as best I could. Fortunately, there were no signs of any serious injury.
よかった。事故とかじゃないみたい。
娘さ
はい。
今日は学校へ行ってはならん。
No, she's still talking, so she's not dead.
絶対に行ってはならん。
The old woman raised herself up slightly and spoke hoarsely. In the tone of her voice, she seemed terribly desperate.
だけど今日は面接の最後の練習があってね。
行ってはならんと言っている。
Okay. So this is like either some cursed stuff, she's a psychic, or she knows something bad, or she just knows offhand that something bad's gonna happen.
そういうわけにはいかないよ。面接は私が一番苦手とする試験だから。それよりおばあちゃんどうしたの？お家の人は？
どうしてもか。
え？
どうしても行くというのか。
うん。
ならばせめて。
Not knowing what to say, I nodded apprehensively. As the old woman began digging through her pockets, she produced what looked like an old crumpled scrap of paper. As she was digging around, I noticed that her breathing had become dangerously ragged. I began considering my options to assist her. Really, I should have gone back into the house and called my mom. There was something about her that kept me glued to the spot. Sense desperation hiding in that unbroken gaze.
これを受け取りなされ。
何？
お守りじゃ。
お守り？
The old woman clutched my wrist and forcibly pressed the scrap of paper into my palm. Tilting my head, I unfolded the scrap and looked carefully at it. First, I just thought I'd been handed a piece of trash. When I folded it all the way, I saw that it was actually a paper doll in the shape of a human being. There was a name written on its torso. Yui Shishido. Yes, my name written plain as day in easily legible brushstrokes.
どうして私の名前？
Who is this
お
lady?
守りだからじゃ。
え？
守る対象の名を書かねば身代わりにはならんだろう。
Crazy. This was all crazy. I didn't understand any of it save for the one simple fact. This old woman was here specifically to give me this strange paper charm. As far as I was aware, we were total strangers to one another, but she clearly knew both my name and my address.
やだ。ごめんなさい。せっかくだけど私これいらないから。
いらない。じゃあ
As I extended my arm to return the paper doll, I could sense her entire demeanor change. She raised her body up unsteadily from the wet asphalt.
どうしてじゃ。
Oh dear.
あの
わしが身を削って訪ねてやっているのに、なぜ誰もわしの言うことを聞かんのじゃ。
So if an old person told you not to go to school, would you listen? It kind of depends on the vibe. This lady's giving a bad vibe.
受け取らぬなら絶対に天神賞に行ってはならん。
天神賞？
そうじゃ、行くな、行くな。
As the old woman cried out, the paper doll fluttered lightly to the ground. It almost instantaneously became soaked through with rainwater. My name began to run and quickly turned into a legible black smudge. Seeing this, the old woman grabbed and tore at her hair.
うわー、お守りが。これでもう抗う術は失われてしまった。
This vibe, then probably not.
おばあちゃん、落ち着いて。
よいか、絶対に天神賞に行ってはならん。
待って、おばあちゃん、私の学校は如月学園だよ。天神賞なんて知らない。
Oh dear.
お母さん、お母さん、大変。どうしたの？家の前で知らないおばあちゃんが倒れてるの。救急車呼んで。わかったわ。
Paramedics arrived in a matter of minutes. The old woman seemed to be unconscious by that point. However, so the EMTs brought out stretchers.
お二人はこの方の関係者ですか？
いいえ、家の前で倒れていたので救急車を呼んだんです。身元は分からなくて。
そうですか。では付き添いで乗車はされませんか？
The idea of making this old woman go to the hospital by herself just seemed like it would have been a shameful thing to do. Sure, she was a stranger, but we'd had a lengthy conversation mere minutes before, so I couldn't very well say we had nothing to do with one another.
ゆい、あんたは学校行っといで。
でも
この方にはお母さんがついていくわ。あんたは今日面接の練習があるんでしょ？
うん、そうだね。それじゃあお母さん、お願い。
ええ。
I was a little hesitant, but I knew I really had to go to school today, no matter what. So I left the strange woman in my mom's care and, heading towards school, walked by her stretcher. Suddenly, a hand rose from the limp form of the old woman and grabbed my skirt. Startled, I tried to jump away, but found myself ensnared by her terrible, bloodshot eyes. After school, once my finals practice interview had concluded, I reunited with my friends and engaged in the usual regimen of gossip and small talk.
ってことがあってね。
かわいい。何よそれ。
When I described the events of that morning, everyone's eyebrows rose. They were hanging on my every word and yelping in unison at key moments.
ゆい、今日は家でおとなしくしておけばよかったんじゃない？だって今日は面接の最後の練習があるからどうしても来たかったし。
何か起きないといいけど。
やだ、やめてよ、何も起きないって。あ、思い出した。え？天神症って言葉がちょっと引っかかってたんだけどさ、七不思議に出てくるんだよね、天神症。
七不思議ってうちの学校に伝わる如月学園七不思議のこと？
そうそう。天神症って何？放課後のよしえさんって言うんだけど、聞いたことない？知らない。
Oh, I think I know where this is going.
私も知らないよ。どんな話なの？
如月学園が建てられる前にこの場所にあった天神小学校での話なんだけどさ。
うんうん。
その天神小学校で放課後校舎の見回りをしていた女の先生が誤って階段から落ちて死んだんだって。その日は10月のちょうど今日みたいに雨が降る放課後で、時刻はそう夜の7時を過ぎたあたり。こういう日はよしえさんが出るんだって。
Oh, damn.
天神小学校がなくなってしまったことに気づいていないよしえさんは如月学園の廊下を見回って歩いているんだよ。
やだ、それ本
まあ実際見たことがある人がいるから七不思議になってるんじゃない？
当？怖。
Damn, that's that's the same story that was in the opening for the first game.
ゆい、今日はもう帰ったら？そのおばあさんの言ってたことちょっと気になるし。ゆいだけ道が違うから一緒に帰れないじゃない？
だね。お年寄りの忠告は聞いておくもんだよ。
Remember, old people are our greatest resource, full of wisdom and experience. And also crazy superstitions that will often turn out to be true, at least in fiction.
そうだね。なんかゾワゾワしてきちゃったし、もう帰ろうかな。それじゃあ先に帰るね。バイバイ。
バイバイ。
気をつけてね。
明日ファイトだよ。
Yeah!
私は慌てて荷物をまとめ教室を飛び出した。時刻は夕方5時になるところ。外は薄暗くなってきているけれど、階段の7時までにはまだまだ余裕があった。だから怖がる必要なんてないと、そう自分に言い聞かせて廊下を進む。それでも下駄箱にたどり着くまでの時間がやけに長く感じられた。ダメだ、やっぱり怖い。
お、ようシシド。
Hey, there he is.
司くん。
今帰りか？なんだよその満面の笑みは。
なんでもない。ねえ、途中まで一緒に帰ろうよ。
ああ、いいけど。
やった。司くんの顔を見たら一瞬だけだけど怖かったのが吹き飛んだ。こういう時男の子ってすごく頼りになるなって思う。そばにいてくれたら 心強いなって無条件に思わせてくれるから。
Oh, oh no, she jinxed it. Something bad will happen.
もちろんそれが気になってる人ならなおさら。雨は朝よりも弱まっていた。その中を私たちは傘を差しながら歩く。司くんとはたわいもない話でそこそこ笑ったりもしたけど、でも私はどこかぎこちなかったかもしれない。得体の知れない恐怖みたいなものがちらついて、いつもみたいに振る舞えている自信はなかった。
シシド？
Yo, there's no music. How long has there not been any music?
なんかお前顔色悪いぞ。どうかした？おい。
実は怖いことがあって。
怖いこと？
私の様子があまりにおかしかったのか、司くんは心なしか表情をこわばらせて私を見つめた。真剣に話を聞いてくれようとしているのが分かって、私はちょっと嬉しくなる。今抱えている恐怖をできることなら司くんと共有したかった。だから私は今朝あったこととカンナから聞いた怪談話を司くんに話した。だけど司くんは。
はあ、七不思議ね。七不思議を信じるなんて夢があっていいな。
え？
ん？
司くんは怖くないの？
怖いっていうか妙だとは思うけどな。でもその謎のばあちゃんと七不思議なんて単なる偶然だろう。
でも
あんま深く考えない方がいいんじゃね？そのばあちゃんは確かに気味悪いけどさ、ちょっと変わった人だっただけだろ。
そういうんじゃなくて。
え？
解決方法を教えてほしかったわけじゃないよ。私は話を聞いてほしかっただけなの。
話なら聞いたじゃんか。
だからそうじゃなくて。
Oh boy, here it goes.
わかんねえよ。なんか怒ってんのか？
男の子ってこういう考え方をする。人によるのかもしれないけど、でも女子とは違ってすぐにこうすればいいじゃんって解決法を提示しちゃうのだ。結果女子は言いたいことが言えなくて消化不良になってしまう。私は司くんと恐怖を共有したかっただけ。司くんが一緒に怖がってくれればそれでよかったのに。この時の私は気にするなって言葉が司くんの気遣いだとわからなかった。めんどくさいのかなってむくれてしまったのだ。朝に見たおばあさんの顔が、目が、しわがれた声が何度も頭の中でフラッシュバックする。
Damn.
それが怪談話で増幅されてじわじわと私の気持ちを暗くした。
Is this? Oh man.
あんなに怖い思いをしたんだからっていう甘えや八つ当たりの気持ちもあったんだと思う。私と司くんはこの時初めて気まずい雰囲気になった。それじゃ私こっちだから。
ああ。シシド。
Called out my name as I briskly walked away. I didn't really know why I was so angry or confused, but I did notice that his voice was tinged with concern.
なんかあったら連絡しろよ。
started turning back for a second, but changed my mind and pushed forward in a huff, leaving him behind. Sakasa's good peeps. Yeah, I'm not a fan of like that whole rant she just did, but like this was in like a different time period.
ただいま。
ゆい、おかえり。
うん。
Greeting me at the door, my mother wore a somber expression. I could tell right away that something had happened. I stared at her with the scrunched eyebrows for an awkwardly long time before she eventually reluctantly opened her mouth to speak.
今朝のおばあさんね。
うん。
さっき亡くなったって病院から連絡があったわ。
Oh, fuck.
嘘。
残念なことだけど、あなたは明日の推薦入試のことだけ考えていなさい。
うん。
True, it was a bit different time.
それじゃあのおばあさんの話はこれで終わり。さあ、ご飯にするから着替えておいで。
わかった。それじゃあ私部屋にいるから。
ええ。
お母さんがキッチンへと引っ込んでいくのを見届けて、私はもぞもぞと靴を脱いだ。気持ちは一層重くなっている。司くんにあんな態度をとってしまっただけでも嫌な気分だったのに、あのおばあちゃんが亡くなってしまっただなんて。
Returning to my room, I couldn't muster the energy to do anything but collapse into a chair and sprawl out on the desk.
行く
The last thing that old woman had said to me echoed again and again in my mind. I began wishing I had taken her more seriously. I should have accepted the paper doll and thanked her. I should have reassured her that I wouldn't go to Heavenly Host Elementary. I mean, the place didn't even exist anymore, for goodness sake. I was exhausted. It was a hell of a day, and I no longer even had the energy to move. I needed to change out my school clothes, but so was brought out over the desk. My eyelids drooped and closed. I was out. Oh, her room's cute. I awoke with a start. The air in my room had gotten noticeably cooler, and I was shivering.
寝ちゃった。
Rubbing my eyes, I glanced at my clock. The needles indicated it was 6:45.
もうこんな時間。
It was black outside my window, streaked with lines from the still pouring rain.
明日は晴れるといいんだけど。
Sunny for my exam. The weight of what the next day held for me came rushing into my mind. I'd practiced the interview process with my teachers quite thoroughly, but I was still really nervous.
そうだ。明日の用意しておかなくっちゃ。
Oh boy. There was still a little time before dinner. My mind swimming, I decided to take this opportunity to clean out all the notes and textbooks I wouldn't need tomorrow from my bag.
残しておくものは学生証でしょ。それからハンカチとティッシュ、受験票も忘れずに入れて、それからペンケース。あれ？嘘！ペンケースがない！学校に忘れてきちゃった。
Oh no.
さーっと血の気が引いた。別に筆記用具で困ったわけじゃない。家にはいくらでも代わりがある。だけどあの中には司くんから借りた受験必勝鉛筆が入っているのだ。取ってこ なくちゃ。
Oh shit.
お母さん、私ちょっと学校に忘れ物取りに行ってくる。
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Sorry.
もうすぐご飯できるわよ。
I think he's okay. I just think that they got onto him about something.
すぐ戻るから。
そう。雨も降っているし、気をつけていくのよ。
あの鉛筆は絶対に明日試験会場へ持っていかなければならないものの一つだった。だから私は迷うことなく学校に戻る道を選んだ。
Why couldn't she go back in the morning?
降りしきる雨の中、足元に気を配りながら全速力で走る。走っている間、ちらりと頭をよぎるのは起きた時の時間だった。6時45分。七不思議で語られていた時間は夜の7時。校門前に着いて真っ先に時間を確認した。校舎についている大時計が指し示す時間は6時55分。放課後のよしえさんの怪談話が再び頭をよぎる。10月、雨が降る放課後、夜7時。あのおばあちゃん、もしかしてこうなるのが分かっていて。
You know what?
やだな、もう怪談なんてあんなの作り話だって。
You know what? I think that old woman was a psychic.
こみ上げてくる恐怖を抑えつけるために声を出して自分を叱咤する。見上げた校舎に人影はない。こんな時間なら生徒はもう帰宅しているだろうし、先生だってどれくらい残っているのか。けれど廊下の電気はまだ全てついていた。あれだけ明るければそこまで怖い思いをしなくても教室まで行けるだろう。よし、パッと行ってパッと済ましちゃおう。
I folded up my soaked umbrella and left it on the rack by the entrance. Then changed into my indoor shoes. Then, entering the brightly lit hall, I took another look around.
やっぱり生徒は誰も残ってないみたい。
Y'all remember what Master Oogway said from Kung Fu Panda? One often meets his destiny on the road to avoid it. And that's actually happened like so many times. In fiction and in real life. My deep sigh echoed through the deathly silent corridor. Ordinarily, the din of the other students would drown out noises like this, but every little sound was coming through crystal clear at this late hour.
急がなくちゃ。もうすぐ7時だ。
I nervously sauntered toward classroom 34, picking up speed as the occurred to me to do so.
今朝のおばあさんね。さっき亡くなったみたい。
その天神小学校で放課後校舎の見回りをしていた女の先生が誤って階段から落ちて死んだんだって。その日は10月のちょうど今日みたいに雨が降る放課後で、時刻はそう夜の7時を過ぎたあたり。こういう日はよしえさんが出るんだって。天神小学校がなくなってしまったことに気づいていないよしえさんは如月学園の廊下を見回って歩いているんだよ。
Damn, this is scary.
もう何考えてるのよ私。七不思議なんて司くんも言ってたじゃない。深く考えない方がいいって。
Lightning flashed and thunder resounded with an impeccable timing. I jumped in spite of myself.
とにかく と教室に行ってペンケース取ってこなくちゃ。
No ghosts should show up in a well-lit building like this, right? And even if they did, they wouldn't be very scary under all these bright lights.
あのペンケースに入ってる鉛筆は明日の試験にどうしても必要なの。だってあれは司くんがくれたお守りなんだもの。
Picked up the pace as I continued to head straight for room 34. Don't like that.
中等部の方はもう真っ暗だな。やっぱり誰もいないのね。それにしても今日はいつもよりこの廊下が長い感じがする。ただでさえこの廊下で遅刻しそうになるくらいなのに。
I continued my brisk walk down the impossibly long hallway towards my goal, jumping every now and then whenever another thunderclap sounded. Kisaragi Academy was comprised of both a middle and a high school. This evening felt like it was flaunting its massive size. It didn't help that my classroom was in the high school wing, which happened to be past the middle school, making it seem that much farther away.
いつもは賑やかな場所がこんなにも静まり返っていると余計に物寂しい気がするな。雨の音がやけに大きく聞こえるよ。
I was focusing on the scant few sounds around me as I paced down that long, lonely corridor. Then, all of a sudden, I heard a faint noise, as of someone playing an
今
organ.
の空耳だよね。そうに決まってるよ。
That last sentence didn't make much sense.
こんな時間に音楽室で楽器を鳴らす人なんているわけないし。
I took a deep breath, trying to calm my nerves. It's probably the sounds of the rain, wind, and thunder mixing together. It just sounded like an organ, that's all. I was convinced, kept walking. But then, I heard the same noise again, this time more clearly. It was unmistakable.
嘘。やだ。
I was paralyzed with fear. My heart was pounding as if it were struggling to break free of someone's sinister grip.
きっとまだ吹奏楽部の子とか先生が残って弾いてるんだよね。そうだ、そうに決まってるよ。
Thinking about it, I vaguely recalled someone mentioning an upcoming performance by the Wind Instrument Club. Guess an organ would qualify. An organ would not qualify. Would it? Maybe, I don't know. Somebody must have stayed late to practice, that's all.
何でもかんでも怖い話に直結させちゃいけないな。
I took another deep breath and tried again to calm my overly jittery nerves.
怖いと思ったら何でも怖く思えるものだよね。
I had heard that if you let your imagination run too wild, fear can even make you see things that aren't there. And my imagination was most definitely running wild.
あとちょっとで教室だから走っていこう。
I decided to dash towards my classroom so I could get out of this hole as quickly as possible. Finally reaching that familiar door, I swiftly opened it and flicked on the lights.
やっとたどり着いたと。あとはペンケースを忘れないようにしなくちゃ。
All this over a lucky pen. Thanks to all my unexpected pauses to freak out over thunder and lightning, it took me far longer than it should have to get here. It was already well past 7.
7時か。
She's gonna see Yoshi. Damn. It was the appointed time. and the ghost of a teacher was supposed to appear, at least according to the school legend.
何もないじゃない。
Let out a sigh of relief and relaxed my shoulders a bit. Lights were on both inside of the classroom and out in the hallway. Sure, it was still dead silent, but the fear I'd been feeling had completely melted away.
全然怖くないよ。やっぱり七不思議だなんて嘘だったんだな。
I grabbed a pen case and I'd come back for and shoved it into my pocket.
よし、これで任務完了だね。
With my long ordeal behind me, more or less, I looked around the classroom and let out another sigh. I'd only ever known this classroom when it was bustling with activity, and thus found its eerie silence and utter stillness to be oddly fascinating.
教室に私一人ってなんだか不思議な感じがするな。
I got the idea in my head to try doing something I normally wouldn't be able to, like standing in at the teacher's podium and writing on the blackboard.
こんなシチュエーションめったにないし。
Oh my god. You got what you came for, now move on, please. To me, the area behind that podium from which teachers conduct their lessons was like a sacred space. I dreamed of standing there myself one day, and I could hardly resist its pull when presented a rare opportunity like this.
今なら誰も見てないし。
To my classmates, this would seem like such a silly, stupid dilemma, but that didn't change the way I felt at that moment.
どうしようかな。
What? We're getting a choice here in the backstory? Nah, let's just leave.
ダメダメ。ここは遊んでないでとっとと学校を出るべきだよね。
I decided it would be best to put my yearnings aside and leave the classroom behind.
七不思議だなんてやっぱり迷信じゃない。
Can't believe I got indignant with Tsukasa over something so trivial. Thinking about it now seemed kind of ridiculous.
さてと、家に帰ろうかな。今日は明日に備えて早く寝なくちゃ。
With this in mind, I walked towards the classroom door and took one step out into the hall. And suddenly, the door slid shut on its own with incredible force. My neck was trapped in the narrow opening that remained. I dug my nose into the door, frantically trying to open it back up. The more I pushed on it, the more it pushed back, further constricting my neck. I was flailing my limbs, twisting and contorting my body, trying everything I could to escape.
なんで
My neck was clamped tightly. I feel the blood rush into my head. Couldn't breathe. Opening my mouth in terror, I stuck my tongue out as if trying to swallow the air. Forcefully shaking my head left and right, I swerved my body to face the ceiling. That's when I saw the tall, pitch-black silhouette of a person. A silent scream squirmed its way out of my throat, as the door was pressing onto my neck.
ダメ。
My vision whirled, and I felt a sensation of falling at the same time, a lukewarm liquid began pouring over my face. As I was struggling to make sense of what was happening to me, the door that been violently crushing my neck quietly slid open. The floor of the schoolhouse came down hard on my head. My vision had gone white and begun blurring, but I still couldn't see.
私の体が見える。
I was rolling across the hallway, and there, the door frame, I caught sight of my own headless torso collapsing in a heap on the floor.
何が起こったの？
The last thing I saw at the corner of the one bloodshot, unfocusing eye was a familiar figure of the old woman from this morning. Oof. Yep. Oh my god. Alright. Let's try that again.
どうしようかな。よし、少しだけ先生の気分を味わっちゃえ。
I decided I had to try it. During daily cleanup and such, I've come and gone from the spot countless times. But this was the first time I've actually had an opportunity to just stand here, preside over the classroom.
そうか。先生からはこんな風に見えるんだ。教室って。なんかちょっとドキドキする。
Gaining a teacher's point of view, in the most literal sense, was starting to get me really fired up. It may seem silly now, but this was my stage. This was where all my dreams would play out.
私もいつか。
I began to imagine a future that awaited me, painstakingly detailing some new piece of knowledge for students sitting attentively at their desks, sliding chalk across the board, filling it with information to aid them in their studies.
いつか先生になれるといいな。
I was getting so excited that I even began to think my behavior was a little strange. Maybe it was the juxtaposition of the joyous joyous spring visions and the prickling dread I'd been feeling up until just a minute or two before. But then, in the blink of an eye, one of those two conflicting emotions completely overpowered the other. Suddenly, my surroundings were bathed in darkness. Going stiff with shock, I stumbled back a step. My back struck the blackboard with a dull thud.
いきなり何？
I instinctively grabbed hold of the rail where the eraser sat. Felt the chalk dust against my fingertips. My panicked heartbeat was making it difficult to breathe. Was this caused by the thunderstorm? If so, it sure picked a fine time to turn the lights out on me.
しかもオルガンの音まだ響いてる。嘘なんで？停電になってるならオルガンだって鳴らないはずなのに。
行くな。
Oh shit. Was this what the old woman was trying to warn me about? That's impossible. She was no fortune teller or psychic as far as I was aware. How could she possibly have known this would happen? Hell, even if she were a fortune teller or psychic predicting the future is stuff of science fiction. I shook my head.
落ち着くのよ、私。音楽室の方はまだ停電になってないとか、きっとそんな理由だよ。
I curled my chalk dusted fingers into a fist and silently tried to talk Knock some sense into myself.
ともかく早く校舎を出よう。
I shouldn't have been playing teacher. Should have been in and out by now. Cursing myself a little, I fumbled my way to the darkened classroom. I'd spent so much time in here, you'd think I'd be able to find my way out with my eyes closed, as it were. Sadly, that wasn't the case. Smashing loudly into a desk, I knocked it on its side and began tumbling after it, instinctively grabbing at another desk around me for support.
といけない。机の中身まき散らしちゃったよ。元に戻さなくちゃ。
So tumbling around blindly, I gathered up all the scattered notes, textbooks, and writing utensils.
でも暗くて何がなんだか。もう何やってるのよ、急いでるのに。本当にドジなんだから。
Let out a sigh. Seem to be doing that a lot lately.
これは教科書とノートでしょ。
I was trying to take inventory of all the things I knocked out of the desk, and then I realized why. Might as well just stand it up and stuff it all back in.
さすがに全部を間違いなく元に戻すのは無理だな。明日ここの席の子に謝らなくちゃ。
Not that that was a particularly pleasant prospect. Explaining what I'd done wouldn't be easy, and no matter how I sugarcoated it, would serve as a clear indication of my clumsiness. If I didn't say anything, it's not like I'd be found out, but that would be the same as lying as far as I'm concerned, and I couldn't do that.
これで最後かな。
I placed my hand against the floor and swept it around, feeling for anything I might have missed. And I found something, all right.
やだ、何これ。なんだかぬるぬるして。
I clearly brushed my fingers across something, but I had no idea what. There was no notebook or writing implement, though, that's for sure.
机の中からなんでブニュブニュしたものが。
Maybe it hadn't been on the floor all along.
なんだろうこれ。
Rubbed my sticky fingertips a bit deeper into this wet spot, then brought my hand close to my face so I can get a better look at what was there. What on earth did I just touch? There was a flash of lightning, almost immediately joined by a roaring thunderclap. And with it, for a split second, the pitch black classroom was lit up as bright as day. Oh no. I shot to my feet, utterly mortified. In that split second, I had gotten a very good look at my fingers, and it really did seem as if they were covered in blood. But it wasn't just my hand. No, if my peripheral vision were to be trusted, it looked like the entire classroom was stained in a deep dark crimson.
そういえば、なんとなく生臭い気がする。
Without thinking, I backed away from where I had been crouching. I tried rationalizing what I saw. How could a whole classroom become a bloodbath like this? Did something spill? Did someone stumble in here injured?
ありえない。そんな、何よこれ。
My whole body was quaking. I fled from the classroom. Or rather, I tried to flee.
開かない。やだやだやだ。鍵なんてかかってなかったのに。今だって鍵はかかってないよ。それなのにどうして。
I pulled on the door handle again and again in a frenzy. I was pulling so hard that it felt like my fingernails might tear loose. But it just wouldn't budge.
なんで
I was absent-mindedly grabbing at my hair with one hand and slamming my fist on a nearby desk with the other. This was a nightmare. Shouldn't have gone back for that pencil case. Silence saturated the inky blackness of the room. I took several deep breaths in an effort to restrain my pounding heart.
とにかく一度落ち着かないと。そもそもドアが開かないのだって私がこんなにパニックになってるせいかもしれないし、さっきの変な塊だってきっと何かの勘違いだよ。だってありえないじゃない、教室にあんなわけのわからないものが落ちてるだなんて。
I was certain that when I saw what it actually was come morning, it ended up being something totally random, like someone's old soda-stained gym clothes.
きっとそうだよ。そうだ。指についたのだって美術に使う絵の具かもしれないじゃない。
My imagination was just running wild because I was panicking.
もしかしたらドアに何かが挟まってて開かないだけかもしれない。
I decided to check out that hypothesis by feeling my way across the door, determining if anything was jutting out from any of the cracks.
ダメだ。真っ暗で何にも見えない。
I fumbled around the gaps in the door, but just as I couldn't make anything out that would be doing this. But I just couldn't make anything out that would be doing this. The classroom's rear exit seemed a world away.
他の出口は。
No, this was the third floor. I couldn't get out of this classroom without exiting into the hallway.
今すぐ外に出たいのに。
Still at a loss, I noticed the sun flash of light through the hallway window. The glass was only translucent, so I couldn't be sure of its source.
誰か歩いてくる。
Then there came the distinctive clomp of footsteps.
そうだ、きっと用務員さんだ。
I recalled the existence of a custodian who always patrolled school grounds. I was sure he must have been taking a look around after the sudden power outage.
助かった。
All at once, my fear out of legs regained their strength. This nightmare would soon be over.
すみません。
I shouted to the custodian through the window, as loud as I could muster.
すみません。閉じ込められてるんです。
I had to be sure he heard me. I shouted again. Finally, I could see the light out in the hallway again, and it seemed to be getting closer. However,
なんかこの光おかしい気がする。
perturbed, I took a step away from the window.
懐中電灯だったらもっと明るいよね。この光はなんだか。
Like a faint, unearthly glow of a classically faint or unearthly glow classically attributed to spirits. So I was thinking. Tried to stop myself from finishing that thought, however. Throwing this aside, it looked like it was wriggling around in a very unnatural, very unflashlight-like way.
それにこの足音。
4 clumps, then 3 or so second interval, then another 4 clumps. Will-o-wisp? Oh shit. They were sounding like a fixed rhythm.
用務員さんじゃない。明らかに変な歩き方。
The fear was back in full force. I had to find somewhere to hide. What if I'd accidentally summoned something inhuman? I mean, whatever that was, I begged it for help. I literally invited it in.
どこか隠れるところ。そうだ。
Hmm. a supply locker. I hurriedly squeezed myself into the metal locker where the classroom's cleaning supplies were kept. It was still pitch black in the room, so I couldn't spare the time it would take to remove its contents. Instead, I just contorted myself to fit. The locker was thick with smells of mold and varnish.
ここで息を潜めていればきっと見つからないよね。
Oh, this was a bad idea. So I waited for the footsteps to pass by and fade into the distance, signaling that it was safe to emerge.
ずっとこんなところにいたらむせちゃいそうだよ。
Still, it felt a lot safer in the locker than it did out in the classroom. The footsteps weren't receding. They were just getting closer. They're just getting louder. Closer. Faster. And then they came to a sudden halt. They were close, just outside the locker. I peered through the ventilation holes, amidst the utter darkness of the classroom. There wasn't a soul to be seen.
大丈夫。ここにいれば大丈夫。
I'm not sure why I believed that. Maybe because I needed to. Maybe because it was so dark, or because I felt so much calmer in such a tight space, where nothing could possibly sneak up behind me. I didn't know why, and I didn't care. I just knew that as far as I was concerned, I was safe in here. So I stood motionless and cramped, and I waited. I didn't have to wait long.
今、なんか音がした。鍵がかかったような。
Slowly, I'm apprehensive. I gently nudged the closet door, just to make sure it would still open for me when I wanted it to.
開かない。
見つけた。
Oh no. I let out a sudden yelp at this unknown voice and tried with all my might to push open the door, blocking my escape.
嘘。開かない。開けて。開けてってば。
まだ残ってるの？居残りしてた罰よ。
There was a brief moment of silence following the eerie voice's unsettling proclamation. And then, the metal walls around me, on all four sides, began warping inward, as if the supply locker had somehow been fed into a trash compactor.
痛い。何？
There was no force I could imagine that should have been able to do this, but it was happening. This nearly confined space was steadily closing in on me.
やだ。苦しい。開けて。出して。
Crash, crunch. The collapse of the locker all around me continued, slowly and steadily. I could feel all manner of things pushing and cutting into my body. My vision went bright red. One of the blood vessels in my eyes probably burst from the pressure. I wasn't going to last much longer. The ventilation holes in the locker were now pressed right up against my face, and through them I could barely just make out the figure of a person. It was the old woman from this morning. She was standing just outside the slats, staring right into my eyes. It was the last sight I could ever see as the locker finally, inevitably crashed into my skull. Crash, crunch, crack, splat. Damn. Damn, that sucked. I knew that was a bad idea. Yikes. Yeah, whatever this thing is, it does not mess around. I hurriedly hid myself beneath the teacher's podium. I grabbed my knees and curled up and made myself as small as I could.
なんなの一体どうなってるの
The footsteps continued to jog nearer and nearer. Little by little, the sound grew louder. Every hair on my body was standing on end.
このまま通り過ぎてくださいお願いします
I held my breath, clasped my hands together, and silently prayed. They were close now. Very, very close.
神様
Why was this happening? I couldn't make sense of it. I just wanted it to be over. Prayed to God that it would end. Was this what the old woman was trying to warn me about? Was this all happening because I ignored her? Because I didn't take the paper doll from her? Was it because I heard the ghost story of Yoshi and allowed it to get to me? Or did the strange events of the day have nothing to do with what was happening to me now?
口から心臓が飛び出しちゃいそうだよ
I was still holding my breath. I didn't dare let the tiniest of sounds escape and give away my position. The consistent rhythm of the footsteps suddenly ended halfway into one of its cycles. And it ended right in front of this very classroom. I had goosebumps up and down my arms and legs. I stopped praying and clasped my hands over my mouth. I knew I'd scream if I didn't. Could this be Yoshi? Was the school legend real? All I could do was close my eyes and keep my mouth shut and hope that whoever or whatever this was would just go away. The footsteps didn't start again. If this was indeed Yoshi, she'd stopped in front of the classroom and was just standing there. I had no concept of time anymore. I stayed in my hiding spot for what was probably a few minutes, but it felt like at least an hour.
足音が消えた
Decided to carefully peek out from under the podium. I gingerly edged my head out just far enough to get a glimpse of the room, and suddenly the footsteps rang out once more. It sounded like they were headed right for me, and I might have been inside the room. I honestly couldn't tell. I scrambled back into my hiding spot and covered my mouth with both hands. This was too much for me. My breathing was coarse and erratic, and my face was a mess of tears and snot.
神様助けて
I was inconsolable. The footsteps just wouldn't stop. What on earth were they doing? It almost seemed like they were running around in circles just to scare me.
やめてもうやめて
I mouthed these words over and over and moved my hands to my ears in a vain attempt to block out this torturous sound. And as if in response, the sound changed. It was a loud, dull thud, followed by silence. No more footsteps. I'd heard that sound thousands of times before. His classroom door sliding open. Peeked out and the door was still tightly shut, but how could that be? The sound I heard wasn't the door, then what was it? What little safety I felt here was pretty much gone. But to that be fair, I wasn't absolutely certain the spirit had seen or heard me either. There was the prospect of stepping out into the open wasn't a desirable one, but I had to decide if it was better to stay where I was or to make a break for it. Okay. Let's see if what stay hidden does.
隠れていよう。きっとやり過ごせるよ。大丈夫。
But it only took a moment for that decision to come back to bite me. My body was suddenly weighed down, and in an instant, without knowing what was happening, my fetally positioned form was essentially locked in place. It was like a boulder had fallen on top of me and was resting on my arched back. I twisted and shifted myself around, trying to shake it off, but the more I struggled, the heavier it became. And what's more, it felt like it was slowly inching its way towards my head, as if it was planning on dropping down in front of my face. Was this a person?
誰だ。
It's a female voice, reverberating ominously as if bubbling up from the depths of hell. I screamed violently, desperate to throw her off of me.
皆さんで追いかけ。
My vision went red, or at least it felt that way. Whoever was on my back dug her razor-sharp fingernails into my eyes. I collapsed on the spot. The pain was instantaneous and unbearable. I could no longer hold my position. I could no longer focus on anything but this agony.
悪い子にはお仕置きです。
The pain shot through my head in waves. It was indescribable, unthinkable. I couldn't take it any longer. My consciousness faded, and I was gone. I would never know what exactly had happened to me, but maybe I was better off that way. Damn, I'm picking all the wrong choices tonight. Alright. Staying in one place for too long seemed like it would be inviting trouble, so I took a deep breath and reluctantly crawled out as quietly as I could. Almost immediately, I felt something. Something long and thin had struck me in the back of the head. Perhaps struck isn't the right word. There was a little force behind it, but it wasn't a hard slam. More like someone trying to get my attention.
木の棒。うん。これは指。
I knew I wouldn't like what I was going to see, but I had to face whatever it was, so I turned around. And there, looming over me was...
まだ残ってるの？
A figure was peering down at me from above the podium. One emaciated and wishbone-like finger extended toward my face. I recognized this person instantly. No doubt about it. This was the strange old woman who supposedly passed away earlier. I was scared out of my mind. I tumbled the rest of the way out from under the podium and shot to my feet. A ghost. There really was a ghost in the school. My breathing was ragged and my heart pounding so hard that it might explode. Plowing through all the desks in my way, I ran as fast as I could towards the classroom door. That was as far as I could go.
どうしたの?
There, on the other side of the door, tied against the glass, was the old woman. She was glowing bluish and white, source of the light from earlier. But how in the world did she get to the door before I did? How did she get out of the room so quickly and position herself so perfectly to block my exit? I felt like I was starting to hyperventilate and tried as best as I could to calm my breathing as my eyes darted about the room. I needed to get out of here now, to get as far away from this place as I possibly could.
前のドアから出られないとなると、外に出るには後ろのドアから出るしか。でもそうすると廊下は前のドアにいるあの幽霊の後ろを通らないと出口にはつかない。そんなの無理。でも
I bit my lip and continued scanning the room.
何かあれに対抗できるようなものがあればいいんだけど。
I didn't have time to think carefully about it. I just wanted to grab something and hope for the best. There were two choices I had to pick one on impulse before it was too late. Bag of salt.
これって科学の実験の時に使った塩の残りだよね。
I heard that salt was used in purification rituals, so it seemed like a natural choice.
よし、これを持っていこう。
I placed the salt in my pocket as a sort of protective charm.
怖いけど、行くしかない。
I was wondering what that was. When I looked over, the spirit of the old woman was holding out her hand from the other side of the doorframe. But really, she was trying to catch me. It wasn't just being paranoid. She was going to kill me and turn me into a ghost like her. I was convinced this had to be Yoshi, the teacher from that urban legend.
やだ、そんなの。
Risking myself, I darted towards the door at the back end of the classroom. There wasn't a moment to lose. If I didn't act fast, I probably wouldn't be able to act at all. I threw the door open and just began running at top speed, hoping to escape behind the spirit's back. Unsurprisingly, trying to outrun a ghost proved to be a fruitless endeavor. The spirit saw me and moved at breakneck speed to intercept. I thrust my hand into my pocket and withdrew the bag of salt, then threw the entire thing directly at the old woman's face. Or it could be the Flying Dutchman from SpongeBob. That's...
いるんだ、この隙に。
Oh my god, now we gotta go to the perfume department. Oh, I always hate going in there. I ran down the hall as fast as I could, fast as my legs could carry me, briefly glancing on my shoulder, a moment to confirm the spirit was still rising. I just kept on running down that dark hallway with nothing but adrenaline and mortal fear to keep me going. I reached the stairwell at the end of the hall and made a mad dash toward the ground level. I was determined to get out of this building alive. Finally, still moving at top speed, I reached the window door leading outside. This is why you saw if you're gonna build something over over a place where bad things happen, you salt the ground before you start construction. Luckily, the malevolent spirit hadn't caught up to me yet. It actually seemed like I might be able to escape. I might actually survive this.
やっとここまで。
I grabbed the handle and tried pulling it.
やだやだ開かない。なんでどうしてここまで来て。
Yep, the perfume department is preferable.
どうして開いてよ開いてよ。
Oh, shit.
どうしようこのままじゃまたあの化け物に。なんとかしなくちゃなんとか。
And bring in the team of exorcists. Yep. Run somewhere else.
仕方がない別の場所に行くしか。
Or maybe I could hide somewhere and throw Yoshi off my trail. I had no particular destination in mind. My only thought was anywhere but here. After maybe 30 seconds, I found myself on the second floor hallway. There was an outside corridor connecting the two buildings of the school there. And it was the first alternative escape route that came to mind. Naturally, it was walled off from the outside for safety purposes, but the wall wasn't so big that I couldn't scale it in a pinch. I didn't really want to jump off the second floor of the school, but I had to. I was confident that I'd at least survive the fall with minimal injury.
隠れよう。
I climbed the wall faster than I thought possible and dropped down to the narrow ledge to the side. It was wide enough to sit down. My back was to the hallway, but my location should have been completely hidden from anyone inside school. Looked down at the muddy ground below me. I really couldn't see much though. The outside was completely dark. It was so dark that it felt almost like the whole world had been draped in a black veil.
ここで隠れて朝を待とうか。逃げててもきっといつか捕まるよ。
I opened the pen case in my pocket and pulled out the pencil I received from Sakasa.
司くんお願い。
I was really treating this stubby little pencil as a protective charm. Sakasa said it would be guaranteed success in my test, not to ward off evil spirits. Still, it was better than nothing. I clutched it tightly in my hands and prayed.
私を守って。
I whispered the words so quietly that I might as well have been mouthing them, but that seemed to be all the opening that damn spirit needed. I sensed the presence on the ledge with me, and so startled I almost fell from my perch.
やめてよおばあちゃん。どうして。
However, I could only sense her there. I didn't actually see her, and thought for one brief moment that maybe I was letting my imagination run wild. Then I felt a horrible sensation of something coiling itself on my arm. Around my arm. Before I knew it, a tall, shadowy figure had half emerged from the wall behind me, and she had me in her grasp. There wasn't much more to her than an indistinct flickering silhouette, but I could clearly see she had a broken neck. Is this a different apparition? Her scraggly, root-like fingers were squeezing my arm with tremendous force, pushing aside muscle and tissue and pressing it right onto the bone.
何なの誰なの。
どこにいるの。もう少しだから待って。
Oh, I thought she'd be worse. Yep. I was shaking hysterically and tears were streaming down my face. I was absolutely convinced I was going to die here. I could offer no resistance. She was too strong, and all I could do was plead with her. I felt like my arm would snap in two at any moment.
ずーっと一緒にいましょうね。
She wasn't just grabbing, but twisting as well. The pain was unlike anything I had ever experienced before. I couldn't think about anything else. Stopping it had become my first and only priority. I struggled violently against the spirit's grip, ultimately breaking free by throwing my body off the wall and toward the unseen earth below. The face of death, everything really does seem to slow down. I read somewhere that this is because the brain is sending out all kinds of distress signals or something. Slow motion or not, though, I was fully aware of my surroundings. I was cascading through the air just outside my school building. This is a dream. Please don't wake up from it right now. Those were the words were echoing in my head as I clutched Tsukasa's pencil tight against my bosom, like a prayer talisman. Moments later, I crashed to the ground, and a horrible squelching sound echoed in my ears. My neck was... Tsukasa's pencil had pierced deep into my throat. Oh, god damn it! Blood was spurting everywhere. I was practically drowning in it. I landed right on it, and it wasn't long before I gasped my final gasp. Let out my final gasp. Ugh. Oof. Yep. I'm picking a lot of wrong options tonight. Okay, so I know what to do. I'm gonna. Oh man, this was a. You think you lived? You're so adorable. It's like that one thing, one meme, that one guy from that show. Oh, isn't that cute? But it's wrong! Oh, isn't that cute? But you're dead. Games and DM's voice. Roll for dexterity. Oof, you failed, and your pencil goes through your throat. I was pretty sure this fall would kill me. With a controlled jump, I might have been able to survive, but I was tumbling like a rag doll. I was a goner. I couldn't even remember what you were supposed to do in a situation like this. Try to flip over, brace for impact? When one latched this and attempt for the survival, I stretched out both my arms. Maybe somebody would be waiting there to grab them. Maybe somebody could save me. Two stupid dogs. And somebody actually did. I honestly wasn't expecting that. I really thought there was no hope, but then, at the last second, I was yanked to safety. So, what are you doing here?
大丈夫か？つかめ、俺の腕。
I held onto his arms with all my might, and against seemingly impossible odds, I was pulled in. My life was saved. This was like a scene out of some anime. It shouldn't have happened, but it shouldn't have happened. It was all too convenient, but I wasn't about to complain.
よく頑張ったな。どう
して司君。
今はしのごの言ってる場合じゃない。逃げるぞ。
Ooh. Tsukasa was still holding on to me tightly after coming to my rescue. He took off down the down the hall, back into the heart of the school with me and Toll.
ちくしょう、なんだよさっきのは。俺は夢でも見てるのか。
Oh, he saw it too. Shit. He practically spit these words out as he continued
ど
running.
うしてここに司くんが。
I tried to match his gait, and once we were a bit more in sync, I looked up in his face. It was fast. After we'd reached the end of the hall, he suddenly veered into the last classroom before the stairwell, pulling me in with him.
シシド、お前怪我はないか。
大丈夫。私はもう一人で歩けるから。
ああ、悪い。
I moved away from Tsukasa and almost immediately spilled onto the ground like a house of cards.
おい、大丈夫じゃないじゃん。
そうだけど、でもすぐに。あ、
無理すんなよ。
Tsukasa grabbed my arm to help me up, but unfortunately, it was the arm Yoshi had been twisting.
悪い。やっぱり腕怪我してるのか。
よくわかんない。でもすっごく痛いよ。焼けるみたい。
I draped my other hand over the sore spot where I assumed there was probably one hell of a bruise. Started rubbing it gently, but didn't help at all.
そうか。じゃあ保健室ですぐに手当てした方がいいな。
でもそしたらまた。
あいつが来るって。
Just thinking about going back out there and facing Yoshi made me shudder. I couldn't believe he was even entertaining the idea.
心配すんな。もし仮にあいつが来ても、俺が絶対お前を守ってやるから。な。
司くん。
Tsukasa's gentle reassurance actually made me forget the pain in my arm for a moment. I had to stop myself from blushing, or try to at any rate.
怪我は一刻も早く手当てした方がいいって。まあどうせ先生なんかいないだろうけど、応急手当てくらいなら俺にだってできる。よし、行くぞ。
Tsukasa offered me his hand, and I graciously took it, squeezing it tightly as he led me back into the hallway.
あったかい。
Despite the fact that nothing had really changed, I was still in just as much danger as I had been. The paralyzing fear I had been feeling was gone. If it were just me, I would have never been able to do this. Would have frozen up, but with Tsukasa leading the way, I felt like I could do anything.
シシド、少し走るけど大丈夫か。
Nurse Tsukasa is in. With my blessing, Tsukasa upped his pace significantly.
もうあいつが出てきませんように。
I prayed silently for smooth sailing as I followed Tsukasa's lead.
このまま司くんと一緒にいられれば安心。
I gently squeezed his hand again, as if to reassure myself that he was still with me. I was starting to think maybe Yoshi was gone. Maybe we thwarted her, but of course, just as I was thinking that, she made her presence known again. Oh shit.
なんだってんだ。出てこい。
An unearthly voice reverberated through the dark corridor. I immediately drew myself into Sakasa's back.
もっと連れてこい。
Over Sukasa's shoulder, I saw the same shadow-like spirit from before. It must have been waiting here to ambush us.
大丈夫、落ち着け。
The ghost was moaning and wavering before us. We'd never be able to get past it.
私のために何でもしてくれる。
おい、獅子堂。俺があいつを引きつけるから、その隙に走って逃げろ。
やだよ、一緒に逃げて。
俺には秘密兵器があるのさ。俺のばあさんからもらった形見のお守り。さっきあいつにこれを向けたら少し割り上がった。
形見のお守り。でも司くんやっぱり危険。
俺まあなんとかなるだろう。
そんな。
待ちなさい。
Uh-oh. We really didn't have time to be arguing. It was closing in fast. And as it did, I noticed the spirit's figure had become more defined. She was a tall young woman with her head turned sideways at a 90 degrees angle. The tail of Yoshi suggested she fell down a flight of stairs, so a broken net would certainly fit.
早く走れ。
He gave my back a shove to get me started, and with no time to eject, I unconsciously obliged. Sakasa ran too, darting ahead of me for a few
お
short
い、化け
moments.
物、こっちだ。
待ちなさい。
Sakasa ran as closely as possibly could to get Yoshi's attention, then turned tail and began sprinting off in the opposite direction.
こっちだぞ、化け物。
Stay there, I've got detention, Sakasa. Amazingly, it worked. The spirit began chasing Sakasa, leaving me completely unobstructed.
どうしよう。私このまま一人逃げてもいいの？
I was torn. On one hand, I knew this was my best chance, but I couldn't help worrying about what would happen to Sakasa if his charm failed. I stopped for a moment and glanced over my shoulder. He was still running. The shadowy figure was still in hot pursuit.
いいから行けって。お前が逃げ切ったのを確認したら俺も逃げるからさ。
I still can't believe I fell for it. But this was right about when I realized the truth. Sakasa had no protective charm. He just made that up so I wouldn't object too strongly to him serving as a decoy while I got away.
やっぱりダメ。
I stopped in my tracks and shouted at the top of my lungs.
待ちなさい。ヨシエ先生。
I wasn't sure exactly what I was getting myself into, but I had to do something, and calling the spirit's name definitely seemed to have an effect.
あなたの名前知ってるわよ。
おい、獅子堂。
All at once, the black figure was facing me, though I never saw her turn around. She was flying toward me now, ignoring Tsukasa.
怖くない怖くない怖くない怖くない怖くない怖くない怖くない怖くない怖くない怖くない怖くない怖くない。
I repeated this like a mantra and stuck one hand into my pocket, pressed me tightly to the one item I stashed there.
お前は私を知っているのか。
私には本当にお守りがある。
Tsukasa's care, his efforts, his beliefs, they were all packed into this pencil. When you get right down to it, that's what a charm is, right? I squeezed the nubby little thing in my pocket, mentally preparing myself for the confrontation ahead. Confrontation I impulsively initiated.
獅子堂、逃げろ。
逃げない。私は逃げないわ。神様、どうかお願い。助けて。
I closed my eyes, lifted my hand from my pocket, and brandished Sukasa's pencil intently. The gauntlet had been thrown. I was putting a lot of faith into this. I really hoped that I hadn't made a mistake in doing so.
私は獅子のゆい、この学校で先生を目指しているわ。
I opened my eyes to find that the shadowy spirit, Yoshi, stopped dead in her tracks. Did it work? Was Sukasa's pencil keeping this vengeful soul at bay?
私の代わりはいらない。死ね。
Suddenly, I was whisked off my feet and slammed against the ceiling. I could see him down below, who was staring up at me and desperately weeping. He was trying to catch me, I suppose, even though he knew he'd never reach. I called out to him over and over again in my mind. If he could get away, if he could survive this ordeal, then it would all have been worth it. Yoshi was drawing near, and I was helplessly pinned to the ceiling. I had no chance at all. There was no doubt in my mind that my life was over. I clung to the relief that I felt at Sukasa's safety. It was the only thing keeping me from losing my head entirely. Then, all at once, the situation took a complete 180. It was like a miracle.
篠崎よしえ、そこまでにせい。
Before I had any idea what was happening, I found myself bathed in a gentle light.
おばあちゃん。
守ってやれんですまんな。せめてこれ以上邪術が拡大せぬこと。
It was the old woman who had collapsed in front of my house. She was standing down below me, enveloped in a warm glow. The black shadow lunged towards her. Then there was a horrific noise. The old woman was gone.
獅子だ。
And just like that, I fell to the ground. Whatever Yoshi had done to me, the old woman must have nullified it. That must have been why she came to me this morning, and why she had come again now. I felt like I was going to faint. Finish her! Tsukasa ran to my side and gently scooped me off the ground into his arms. Yoshi's spirit was gone. She'd vanished along with the light. Around us now, the only sound was the pitter-patter of raindrops on the school roof.
おい、獅子だ。獅子だ。
つかさくん。
I'd suffered quite a bump on the head from my fall. I was decidedly disoriented, but I still had enough sense to put my arms around Tsukasa's neck.
バカ、逃げろって言ったのに。
ごめん。でも。
I wanted to protect you. I couldn't bear the thought of losing you. That's what I wanted to say. Instead, I just passed out in his arms. I felt as though I was waking from a long, horrible dream.
おい、大丈夫か。おい、獅子だ。
ここどこ？
本当に大丈夫か。見ればわかるだろ。学校の保健室だって。
保健室。
It occurred to me to look at my surroundings. Probably something I should have done before asking about them, but in my defense, I was out cold. Beige walls and pink curtains, white beds with solid blue covers. This was indeed the school infirmary, no doubt about it.
どうして？
どうしてもこうしても、お前があんなところで倒れてたから、ここに連れてきてやったんじゃん。
あんなところ？
おいおい、まだ具合悪いんじゃないのか？肛門だよ、肛門。
肛門に？私、そこに倒れてったの？
そうだけど。
私、確かに学校の中でヨシエさんから逃げて。そうだ、腕を怪我して。腕、なんともない？
はあ？腕？
夢だったの？そんなはずない。だって本当に痛くて死んじゃいそうだったのに。
ああ、まあなんか様子が変だけど、とにかく無事でほっとしたよ。
This is kind of wild. I'm not sure what's happening, but hey, everybody's alive.
こういうのって虫の知らせって言うんだな。なんとなく気になってお前ん家に行ったら、お前のお母さんに学校に行ったって聞いてな。そしたらあんなところに倒れてるんだもんな。
司くん、あの。
まあとりあえず詳しい話は後で聞くからさ。ちょっと待ってな。
あ、司くん、言っちゃった。ヨシエさんのこと聞こうと思ったのに。
あら、シシドさん、目が覚めたのね。
先
生、驚いたわよ。三国くんが血相変えて私を呼びに来るんだもの。私が当直でよかったわね。
ご迷惑をおかけしてすみません。
それはいいのよ。でもあなたずいぶんうなされていたから、悪い夢でも見てたんじゃない？
悪い夢？
そうよ。三国くんもすごく心配してたわよ。
Hi, Key. Welcome to the stream. How are you?
そうだ。やっぱりきっと悪い夢なんだ。昼間に怖い話とか聞いちゃったし。
Is she Yoshi? I don't think so.
ともかく、もう大丈夫？
はい。
そう、よかったわ。
The nurse smiled cheerfully and disappeared behind the partitioning curtain. Lighting on the side, I laid myself down on the bed once more. It was dead silent. The rain must have let up. The only sound I heard was the occasional cough from the nurse, who was otherwise going about her business quietly. This is a scary game? It is, and we have gone through a very harrowing endeavor.
あ、そういえばペンケース。
Thrust my hands in my pocket, never really expecting to find it, but
ちゃんとある。
pen case, complete with Sakasa's pencil talisman inside, was present and accounted for. Which meant that
私、やっぱり教室には行ったんだ。やっぱり夢じゃない。
おーい。
あ、司くん、おかえり。
I was still trying to remember the exact details of what happened when I unexpectedly felt something cold press against my cheek.
これって。
You monster!
お前うなされてただろ。汗もかいてたし、喉乾いたんじゃないかなと思ってさ。ほら、コーヒー牛乳。
What's scary about it? We were just chased by a ghost that wanted to kill us.
ありがとう。
Sakasa went out of his way to buy this just for me. It was a lovely gesture. How could I possibly refuse?
お前さ、明日というか、もう今日か。推薦の試験だろ？何時からだ？
9時。
あと4時間か。
もう無理だよ今日は。
I'd been put through hell on earth. Taking a test was the furthest thing from my mind. I was in tears and I had no idea why. Maybe it was because I was so relieved, so glad to be alive.
Oh. よし。なあ、シシド、起きれるか？ちょうどいいから、お前にいいもの見せてやるよ。
What's biggest fear? I ain't afraid of shit. Subtites.
いいもの？
おう、そうだな。むしろ、お前には見てほしいんだ。
うん。
My nose was still running, but my heart felt a lot lighter. I no longer felt threatened by this school. I was comfortable and safe. The two of us left the nurse's office with Sakasa and the lead. And even though I was holding a cold coffee in my hand, I still felt warm all over. What about vegans? I don't mind them too much. It's the extreme ones that kind of worry me. Neither of us said a thing as he led me through the empty halls. It occurred to me that when we last saw one another, I was mad at him.
ほら、シシド、着いたぞ。
ここって渡り廊下？
まあまあ、もうすぐだからちょっと待てよ。
もうすぐ？
I had no idea what I was looking for. I just kept staring at him, but his eyes were fixed on the window leading out to the walkway. As I gazed upon him in profile, I felt my heart skip a beat.
昨日のこと謝らなくちゃいけない。
Good to hear I like beef and chicken too much. But just wasn't sure what to say. I let my feelings get the better of me and reprimanded him for behavior that was, at least at the time, entirely reasonable. There was more to it than that, though. There was one particular reason more than any other that made it hard for me to think of words to say here. He and I run from Yoshi together. We escape her wrath against insurmountable odds. And what if that wasn't all a dream?
お、出てきたぞ。
Followed Sakasa's pointing finger and
朝日。すごい。すごい。
Aww.
俺、ここでよく夕日を眺めてるんだけどさ、朝日もいいもんだな。
綺麗だよ。街がオレンジに染まっていく。
お、元気出てきたな。
ここって司くんの言ってた例の場所だよね。
おう、うん。
Oh, okay.
今まで絶対に教えてくれなかったのに、どうして今日は教えてくれるの？
After all the terror, this is nice. It is. We're winding down to something very wholesome and sweet, and I'm all here for it.
別になんとなく。
なんとなくって。
I could think of a reason, but I didn't say anything. just seemed kind of far-fetched to me. And if I were misinterpreting him, I'd be very embarrassed. He couldn't possibly, could he? My face felt kind of warm. Placed a sweaty cafe au lait on my cheek and sighed softly.
どうした？顔赤いぞ。
そう
まだ具合悪いんじゃないのか？
そんなことないよ。ほら、朝日が赤いせい。
ああ、なるほどな。
Boys can be so dense sometimes.
試験頑張れよ。今からすぐ戻って準備すりゃ間に合うだろ。
ありがとう。司
They are
君の
still-
それ好き。
I don't think he's like dense. I think he's like he does have feelings for her, but it's like he's not saying anything the same reason that she is. That is like misinterpreting or misunderstanding signals here.
え？
Or at least they think.
それと、あと、ごめんね。
なんで謝るんだよ。
いや、昨日、ほら、なんかちょっと気まずくなっちゃったし、七不思議の話して。
ああ、そんなこともあったっけ？
そんなこともって、私は結構気にしてたんだけどな。
Yep, I agree. He's a lot like her.
女子はほんと細かいこと気にするよな。俺は全然何とも思ってなかったのに。
そっか。
Let out another sigh and turned back towards the morning sun, stretching my arms skyward as a sudden wave of exhaustion overcame me. The day got brighter bit by bit, and I just stood there, silently trying to piece together all the jumbled thoughts rattling around my head. I was running away from Yoshi, and Tsukasa was with me. Then I was saved by the old woman.
やっぱり夢だよね。あんなの。
As the bright rays of the sun washed over me, I felt new life and new hope welling up from within. And I finally came to terms with those horrid events. Most likely, I got the pancakes without incident. Then on my way back, something hit my head and knocked me out. That would be just my luck.
あ、ちょっとシシド、動くなよ。そのまま。
I didn't know what he was planning to do, but he was staring right at me, and it felt kind of like he was staring into my soul. And then, slowly, Tsukasa drew his face towards mine.
これって
Oh, it's happening!
シシド。
嘘。何これ。
Shut my eyes. I was ready for this. Maybe I just didn't want to look. The next sensation I felt wasn't quite the one I was expecting.
シシド、これ大丈夫か？
He grabbed my arm for some reason and was staring down at it intently.
何よ、紛らわしいな。で、やだ、何これ。
Turns out he was just concerned by the strange bruise that I apparently received. Do it? No, false alarm. False alarm. Which at momentarily became visible when I raised my arms. It was right around the elbow. Right where Yoshi had grabbed me in my dream.
痛そうだな。
全然痛くないけど。
けど？
なんでもないよ。
Giving a wry smile, I gently pulled my arm from his grip.
ねえ、司くん。
ん？
帰る前に一つ お願いがあるんだけど。
なんだよ。
手繋いでもいい？
手？
うん、手。ダメかな。なんでという彼の言葉にはなんとなくと答えた。そっと指先を掴んだだ
Oh
け
dear.
の軽いものだったけど、初めて私はお互いの心がつながっているのを感じた気がして、とても嬉しかったのを覚えている。
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it might be time to end stream. Let's see if this is like the conclusion to the chapter, and then I'll stop. Aww.
ふーん。
Yeah, it's no kiss, but it's a start.
ゆい先生、ゆい先生。
つかさくん。
ゆい先生ってば。
I knew I'd heard that voice before, but who was it? Was I just dreaming again? Still felt like I was holding Tsukasa's hand, though.
ゆい先生って手。やっと起きた。
あら？え？持田くん？
そうだよ、持田聡だよ。
I was so dazed. I had no idea what was going on. All I knew that one of my students, Satoshi Mochida, was here, and he looked concerned.
ゆい先生、いい加減手を。
え？あら！
I finally realized what he was talking about. I was holding Mochida's hand in my own, and squeezing it awfully tightly. The mouth, yeah.
やだ！ごめんなさい！私ったら。
So, if you weren't here, for those who weren't here, oh. Y'all see that bruise on her arm? Oh shit. So basically, Satoshi was supposed to bring in like papers from the substitute teacher because Yui was out with a cold, and he saw that she was in such bad shape that he had to like stay and do a couple things for her.
いいけどさ、ゆい先生、結構握力強いんだな。
あら、そう？これでも昔はか弱く儚い美少女として巷に名を馳せたものだけど。
It might be like the same bruise that she got from Yoshi, but that should have been like a long time ago.
それどこから突っ込んでいいの？
手厳しいわね。
Mochida was a good student. He and I got along well, and we were already falling back into our usual pattern of good-natured ribbing, except...
ちょっと待って。どうして持田くんがうちにいるの？
それさっき話したじゃん。
え？
その調子じゃ何も覚えてないんでしょ。
何も？
さっき俺の作ったおかゆ食って薬飲んでまた寝たじゃないか。その時話したのに。本当に綺麗さっぱり覚えてない？
Oh dear.
全然。
Oh my...
笑えないよ、も
pushed it aside and pointed at the table.
う。あれ、山崎先生からの届け物。
Yeah, I don't know if you can hear baby cousin crying in the background. I think he's like throwing a fit or something.
もしかしてわざわざそれを届けに来てくれたの？
And it might be throwing a fit, or he might be like fighting sleep. Yeah, I should probably like just go ahead and end stream
そうだよ。
like really soon.
そしたらゆい先生があんまりにひどい状態だったから飯作って。あ、キッチン借りていいって言ったのはモネだから。
そっか、モネちゃんがね。
Stroked mine its neck, and he lay down contently on my futon. Such a pretty kitty. I was getting kind of wrapped up in petting him, as I often did. Almost forgot Mochi was there until he let out a huge sigh.
ゆい先生、玄関の鍵は閉めないと不用心だよ。
あら、開いてた？
うん。今回ばかりは開いてて助かったけど、でも今後はちゃんと閉めないとダメだからな。
気をつけるわ。
なんで笑うの？
持田くん、私のお母さんみたいだから。
うわ、複雑。
I didn't mean to laugh. It must have seemed kind of deranged, but I could always blame it on the fever. Mochi looked at me and let out another sigh. My poor sense of humor must be getting to him.
でもまあ、だいぶ元気になってきたみたいでよかったよ。
そうみたい。
結構寝てたもんな、ゆい先生。
そうね。確か今朝風邪でめまいがして、学校にお休みの電話をして、モネちゃんのご飯を用意して。
あれ、コンビニ行ったんじゃないの？
コンビニ？
うん。冷却シートと弁当があって、ほらこれ、レシートの時間。今朝になってるけど。
ほんとだ。
もしかしてゆい先生、コンビニ行ったこと覚えてないの？うわー、もうしっかりしてくれよ。まさかパジャマで出かけたりしてないよな？
そんなことはないと思うけど。
どうかな。笑ってごまかさない。
ごめんごめん。持田くん、私のことずっと看病してくれてたの？
うん。
そう。遅くまでごめんなさいね。
It's already past 10 o'clock in the evening. Couldn't believe Mochida had been with me this whole time. Felt both guilty and grateful. Definitely gained new respect for him.
おかゆ、まだちょっと残ってるから腹減ったら食べてよ。あとそれからこれ。
スーパーの袋？
冷蔵庫を見たら何もなかったからさ、ついでに買っておいたよ。
Oh my god, he is going like above and beyond. The bag was quite heavy. He did, yeah. Inside was a bottle of orange juice, some bananas, canned peaches, apples, and other assorted fruits.
これ？
風邪の時ってビタミンを取るといいんだろ？
それ食べて早く良くなってよ。
持田くん。
That much fruit couldn't have come cheap, especially for a high schooler. Considered offering to pay him back, but decided against it. I knew he wouldn't take my money, and besides, I really appreciate the fact that he'd gone to all this trouble for me. I'd return the favor another time. If it ever seemed like I was going to be staying late after school, maybe I'd buy him dinner. Or I could help him with preparations for the school festival.
じゃあ俺帰るよ。
Yeah, I was saying earlier, like, there is a bit of a resemblance between Tsukasa and Satoshi. They even got like a similar stance. Brought her groceries, that's wild, I know.
大丈夫？道わかるかしら？なんなら途中まで見送りに行くわよ。
大丈夫だよ。ゆい先生はおとなしく寝てて。まだ本調子じゃないんだし。第一、夜道を女の人一人で歩くなんて危険だよ。
持田くんは優しいね。そういうとこキュンとしちゃう。
あれ？そういうこと俺に言っていいの？
Yep, they look a lot alike.
なんで？
Mochida and I joked like this a lot. Usually it made him blush and get adorably embarrassed. But not today. Today he just grinned sheepishly with a mischievous glint in his eyes. I didn't quite get it, but what was his angle?
司くんって誰？先生の恋人？
どうしてそれ？
ゆい先生寝てるときずっとその人のこと呼んでたよ。うなされながら何度も司くんって。誰なんだよ。
That crafty Mochida turned the tables on me. How embarrassing to know I'd been calling Tsukasa's name.
それは。
I hesitated to answer for a moment, then figured, what the hell, why not?
司くんはね、私の初恋の人。
その様子じゃ、ゆい先生はよっぽどその人のことが好きだったんだね。だって先生さっきすごかったよ。俺のこと司って人と間違えてたでしょ。
やだ。
ゆい先生、顔赤いよ。
I have a theory. I think maybe Tsukasa died and Satoshi is like his reincarnation. That's one theory at least.
これは熱のせいよ、きっと。
まあいいや。そういうことにしてあげる。
あんまり大人をからかわないで。
だってこんなゆい先生めったに見れないからさ。
Wasn't sure if he was ever going to give me the full story, but of all the embarrassing things I'd done in my favorite days, and maybe it was better he didn't. Either way, I was in his debt, so he could tease me all he wanted, just this once.
やばい。そろそろ帰らないと。ゆかがカンカンだ。
今日はありがとね。もう暗いから気をつけて帰るのよ。
はーい。
It definitely could happen. Some members of my family, did say before, like, I might be the reincarnation of the, great aunt that I was named after.
それじゃあ先生、食事をきちんととって頑張って早く治してくれよ。 イト。
Fight the good
あり
fight.
がとう。いい子だな、持田くんは。いかんいかん。あの子は生徒だぞ。
Incarnation is like a very interesting subject, though.
おいで、モネちゃん。一緒に寝よっか。会いたいな、司くん。
Alright, we finally made it to the end of the chapter. That was good. At least we got like a break from all the horrendous stuff that was in the other chapters. So, I'm going to end it here. There's no music on the screen. What am I doing? So, I'm going to go ahead and end it here. So, thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe if you want to. And I'll see you next time. Druk-kun might have gotten Tsukasa and you guys. Oh man, he might be living it up in another world. Okay, bye everybody.